On the path of growth, there are all kinds of statements and questions about our true self. I want to become the most authentic self, the truest self, who I really am. What's true is that all of us have a vast probability field that is much bigger than our actuality. Right? We have a body, we have sensory experience, and we have the reality around us. Right? That's our identity or our pattern right now. And it consists of a pattern of thinking, feeling, speaking, doing, and being. That's the identity. That's the pattern that the I identifies with. Is it more or less real than any other pattern? Right? Because we can change our identity by changing our pattern of thinking, feeling, speaking, doing, and being. And as we do, we move into the space currently occupied by our probability field, and beyond that, our possibility field. Now, is one probability more authentic or more real than another probability? I don't think that's really the question. Perhaps a more useful question is, who do I enjoy being? Meaning, if I scan my probability field, if I explore my probability field, I will experience myself differently, interacting with different people and different contexts. In other words, if I eat French fries all day, I will think, feel, speak, do, and be differently than if I fast for the day or drink raw organic carrot juice for the day, right? So if we change our diet, it slightly or dramatically shifts our identity, our pattern. If we change our routine, if we wake up and go jogging and then interact with our partner, it's a very different identity, a different pattern than if we wake up and talk to our partner and do not go jogging. So everything that we do, every place that we put ourselves, changes the pattern. And what our job really is, as an I, as an ego, is to discover and explore the parts of our probability field that are more meaningful to us, that have more significance, perhaps more enjoyment, more value. And then to move in that direction. Right? If we have some of our best days after eating raw organic carrot juice and going for a run, we can access that pattern of thinking, feeling, speaking, doing, and being with that key by doing that activity. Right? If we discover that traveling to another country brings out a part of us that we enjoy more, then we can take steps to sustainably spend more time in that country. Many countries offer visas by investment. Most offer tourist visas as long as you have enough money. Some offer retirement visas, fiancé or marriage visas. We can move towards the location that we enjoy spending the most time in. Right? So, there's another misconception while we're looking at this that I think is worth exploring. And it's the tendency to lower a person to the lowest common denominator. Example, you or someone you know has spent 10,000 days on the planet, and many times, 24 times the number of hours, so 240,000 hours on the planet, and you or someone rapes someone for 1 hour of those 240,000 hours. Well, because it's negative, right? Rape is a negative thing. Now the identity clusters around the lowest common denominator. So for 1 hour out of 240,000 hours, you raped someone. For the other 240,000 hours, you didn't rape someone. But you are now a rapist, right? So the same. So anything that is highly stigmatized within the culture, murder, right? You kill one person someone was running towards you. You thought they were going to attack them. They were going to attack you. You raised a gun, and in 1 minute you killed someone. So for 1 minute you killed someone in your life, and the other minutes you didn't. But you are now a murderer, rapist, and a murderer. If at one point in your life you stole something, you are now a thief, right? A thief, a rapist, and a murderer. Now, these are defining identities, meaning you may not have raped, stolen, or murdered someone for the last 20 years, right? And you may have done that one time in this particular situation. But there's a stigma because it's negative. There's a label because it's negative. Now, if you ate frozen peas for 1 hour of your life, right, 250,000 hours, for 1 hour of your life, you ate frozen peas, you are not stigmatized or labeled as a frozen pea eater. That's a frozen pea eater over there, right? So there are literally thousands of things over the course of a lifetime that are done once that do not add to the identity or the pattern. And it's not necessarily a pattern, right? If you try something and don't do it again, it's not necessarily a pattern, but the label that people will put on you is usually defined by the lowest common denominator of something negative, right? So you did one thing one time that's and so as bad as that is, that's where the label will rest. And the reason for that is that you do want to understand the worst case scenario in the probability field. Now, everyone has a probability field that includes rape, murder, thief, stealing things. It's probable, right? It may be 1 in 1,000 chance, 1 in 10,000 chance, but it is probable, right? Everyone has a probability field. It's certainly possible. So it's there as a probability. It's there as a possibility field, but it may or may not be there as an actual field. Now, with things that dramatically change our lives, if we've been raped, statistically speaking, it dramatically changes our lives. If we've been murdered, it's quite a big change. And so we want to know, that is a probability, right? And if someone has done something before, then there will be a certain set of situations where they might do something again. And so we do want to know that probability exists, right? And the only way to communicate, but you see, we're not that focused. Like if I'm meeting you and once you ate a grasshopper, you visited a foreign country where they eat grasshoppers, you once ate a grasshopper. Now, that could be like in a kid's playground, That's a grasshopper eater. That person eats grasshoppers, because it's considered negative. It's weird. It's strange, right? So anything that's unusual is often categorized in the negative territory. So it might get flagged, but that person ate a beef sandwich once in their life. That's a beef sandwich eater. You see, so there's a tremendous asymmetry in what gets labeled or put into the identity. I'm a murderer. I'm a beef sandwich eater. I'm a raw carrot stick eater. I eat raw carrot sticks from time to time. So what, right? And so so that is a a somewhat difficult pit to come out of, right? If you get identity, a pattern, a label that's with something that people have a lot of fear and stress about, it's usually particularly when things are not recurring, right? It's what's most useful is to understand the context, right? Because there is a certain context in which everyone steals. There is a certain context in which everyone kills. There may be a certain context in which everyone rapes. It's hard to tell what that context might be, right? But as a general rule, there is a context in which everyone will do, say, think, feel anything, right? And there's also, right, based on our value hierarchy, a set of values where we like ourselves or we enjoy ourselves when we're doing some things more than other things. And what's useful to know is what those are, and then to know what choices we can make and where we live, right? Your odds of killing someone, for example, go way up if you are in a war, in a country that's actively at war with street-to-street combat, right? If someone rushes for your child, you may find that you prefer to kill that person than watch your child get killed, for example, right? But if you don't enjoy killing, then moving your body, moving your family out of that area is going to, help you a lot to be the kind of person you enjoy being. If you are starving and your family is starving and there is no way to earn food or grow food, but there's a bunch of food over there that you'd have to steal, then suddenly you find that the odds of you being a thief go up dramatically. So, is there a real you, who you really are? There is a you that you tend to become when you have mastery, right? So, when you have mastery, first of all, you've explored your probability field enough to know which parts of you that you enjoy being. Like if you enjoy being generous, that also comes with, in a capitalist culture, for example, the talent, the mastery of making money, right? So if you want to give a lot of money away, then the mastery, the skill would be the art of making a lot of money so that you can enjoy giving it away. If you enjoy making someone a coat, well, then you have to, stitch and weave and cut things in the right way, and you need to learn that. If you want to give someone a food, a dish, to learn to prepare that dish. So if you have complete mastery, meaning you've explored the different parts of you and you know what you like and you don't like about you and who you'd like to be, and you've developed the competency to be anyone you want to be. That means if you want to be a thief, you know how to be a good thief. If you want to be a rapist, you know how to be a good, successful rapist. Every identity, every pattern requires skill, competency. If you want to be lazy, then it doesn't require as much training. And maybe you have to learn to resist showing initiative, right? If you start off as kids, curious, alive, active, and you got to train yourself to be apathetic. But generally, highly competent people move towards win-win relationships where the people around them are having as much fun as they are. Move towards success and conscious, sustainable fun. Move towards beauty, move towards truth, move towards a sense of goodness, move towards meaning, reducing unnecessary suffering, adding sustainable well-being, move towards balance, move towards ecology, a sustainable relationship with our environment, move towards a beautiful ecology. Right? The most competent person on earth, meaning they have the most mastery, they've explored all the different identities, patterns that they can be, and they know how to do all of them, will gravitate towards conscious, sustainable fun. And conscious, sustainable fun has a gradient, exists on a gradient, right? When you're bullied, your fun may be to beat up the bully. But if you have a higher level of mastery where you are neither bullied or vulnerable to bullying, and you grow tired of beating up the bully, it's more fun to see the bully transform into a healthy human being who doesn't want to bully and who instead wants to co-create something beautiful. The more masterful you are, the more you tend towards excellence, beauty, vitality, abundance, right? Generosity, love, because it is more fun. It's more fun to be free than to be imprisoned, and so you move towards freedom. It's more fun to be powerful than to be powerless, and so you move towards power, not power over, because it's more fun to have the power to create your life however you want to create your life than it is to dominate other people. It's more fun to dominate other people than to be dominated in many cases. That's why those people do that. But it's even more fun to have the freedom to create the reality that we want to create without needing to dominate or be dominated in order to do so, right? It's more fun to have freedom than to be trapped. It's more fun to have excellence than stupidity and incompetence. It's more fun to know than to be ignorant. It's more fun to share than to hoard. It's more fun to be on a planet that is happy and sustainably creating lots of fresh air and clean water than it is to be on a planet where the water is sick and the air is sick and the soil is sick and the food is sick. It's more fun. Conscious, sustainable fun is the gradient that every competent individual ultimately climbs. And once they experience it, they reside there because it's more fun to have fun than not to have fun.